Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Thursday. It's May 2nd. This will be our chart lesson for today, and this is going to wrap up our week. No chart lessons on Friday, so um, won't be back again until Monday. But there was some nice movement again today. It looked like we were going to go sideways until we had this big sell-off, and then we've taken about half of that back. Um, you can see where we closed yesterday, and we're almost we've come close to trading back to that. The market's it's only 2:30, so the market's not closed. I'm doing this a little earlier than usual. I need to get out of here. I've got some things I got to take care of today, so I'm going to leave a little early. So I thought I'd go ahead and do this, try to get it done now. But I'm going to back out. We'll go over the trades, and we're going to wrap up our week. But it's a good trading day today. There were a couple that you could have picked up some really nice runners on, but and you had room to be a little choosy today too. So. But like I said early on, like it was going to be a range day. 7 o'clock came right down through this little movement right through here. Um, too much sideways right in here, right where 7 o'clock came. But then we drop down. We come back, and this key entry point's been working all the way down. Nice bearish bar. It's only a first entry, but you're not, it's going to be hard to get a second entry on a tight range like that. So with it being right off the EMA, right off the key entry point, being that bearish, I think you got to, if you want to enter here, you got to risk it. You might wait on the lower high, which comes here. Only problem by that time, you've got a little bit of support across here, so it's a little bit questionable going short into that support. But again, it is right off the key entry point. It is working down. And there's no doubt about that trend line right there. You can see every time prices have come back to it, they've moved they've moved to the other side, basically. So that one's pretty low risk. You come back here, but now you're just kind of going sideways in congestion. You get a little close outside a new low, then you run up. It looks like you're going to get a reversal. Then it runs down and makes another new low here before it shoots right back through. But now we make a higher high than that last one. And then we get a little second entry long right here. This one you could argue to be blue. It's real close. Notice that new high, first entry, second entry. And we're making higher highs and higher lows, and it is a second entry long. So that one's real close. I just wasn't quite sure that, it had reversed yet. Like I talked about yesterday, sometimes it's just, it's just a gut feel. And at the time, I was watching that, and I didn't like it, so I didn't mark it. And, from there, you'd probably look for a measured move, which puts you back up here near the highs again. But look what happens. You come back, you get a first entry, then you get a second entry short, and now you confirm that trend line with another touch. I like going long right there. And notice we make a double bottom, so first entry short, second entry short. So you get another failed second entry short right off the trend line, the EMA. They're running. Notice how the EMA and the trend line are running congruently there. That's a good sign. You got not only you have the trend line acting as support, you got the EMA right there with it. So you got a double. You got some synergy there. So I like going long again right there. By that time, we finally got on up to the highs, and it just reversed here. I don't see anything else you want to go long yet. And then all of a sudden, you get a failed second entry long right here. Notice that double top, first entry, and then you try to go higher again right there, and it fails. It actually breaks higher and turns and goes out the other side. I like going short right there. That's 3 touches of that trend line. It confirms it. And it's looking like this is going to be a range day, and you got that resistance. I don't have it on there, but you got that resistance across there, which you can clearly see. That's a double test right there. And then you made 2 lower highs, so I like that one. We run down, we bounce. It looks like it's just going to be a little tight trading range, comes back. This is just a first entry, and there's still a little trend line working up there. But again, you come all the way back to a key entry point, and we're not quite down to the lows yet, the overnight lows, which are down here. You got plenty of room to get out. That's a very bearish bar that broke higher again and then turned down. It looks similar to this. I like that one. You don't know that this is going to happen, but if you catch this one trade, you ride this all the way down. And this is tempting right here, but you know, right off the other side of the what looks like the trend channel line, you got to stay away from that one. And then we're just waiting on it to come back again. You don't want to consider buying really, not until we get a trend in the other direction. And even this one, you know, you get a little trend line here and everything plays out. Notice you got that little trend line working up. You get a break, you move back up. You don't quite get a new high, but it turns down right there at the trend line. This is really your signal bar. This is kind of an inside bar, so I'm not crazy about that one. I think you ought to wait on see if you get a lower high, and you do right here. And it's also a failed second entry long. It's right off the key entry point. Another big bearish bar. Again, you've got to be a little concerned about some of this support across here. But, I mean, this thing has been down strongly, and the trend line is still holding. I think it's worth risking there. And off it goes again. Runs down, bounces off the other side. So now you'd expect prices to back up. Notice that you do have another trend line plays out right here. You got one working up. You get a close, new high, and it turns down. And that opened on its high, closed on its very low. Second entry short right there. That's a nice entry. The only concern I have with that one is not back to the trend line, but this thing is so bearish. A good second entry with a signal bar like that, I don't see any reason not to take it. Runs down, comes back, you get another second entry. You do get a close outside this time, but that's still a fairly bearish bar, and it's the first close outside, so I like going short. And then notice what happens. It bounces at that support area, and next thing you know, you're going higher. I still was expecting prices to go lower here. I think that's what you would expect with a move down that strong. And this being the first closes outside. So on another second entry short with a nice little small bearish bar, I think you need to go short. The only problem is you're starting to make higher highs and higher lows. So, but there is a little bit of a trading range across here. And you could treat that like a little failed breakout with a second entry short. That's a double bottom, so a new low, first entry, second entry. But when it bounces again, you better stay away from this. Now if you get a higher low, which notice you do, and it bounces right off that support resistance line across there, which I can't seem to get drawn right. But anyway, you're coming across, and it's a perfect, it's a little breakout pullback long, and it's a failed second entry short. Notice that low, first entry, second entry, and look how bullish. I like going long there. And then we come back, first entry, pull back again, second entry long right there, still making higher highs and higher lows, and it turns on back down this time. And a couple of things I'm going to show you here before I talk about these last couple of trades. Notice the gap right there, and you got a trend line running across it. You're coming up through here. There was a gap somewhere in here. Can't remember where it was now. Oh well. Anyway, you'll see those when prices kind of gap over those trend lines and support resistance lines and the EMA and stuff like that. And when you do, you know you're probably got your trend line in the right place. It's just amazing how often you see that. And it's hard to explain why it does it, but prices do that, and it seems to happen at those spots for whatever reason. But anyway, you finally get a little break of this. This is like a little spike in channel. Like it was just going to be a channel, but then it turns into a two-tiered. But we just came off the top, so you got to be a little careful. I Actually, we run up here. Notice that we got an overshoot. Now we got two legs up to a new high and a higher low, way away from the EMA. It's always dangerous picking tops, but being that far away from the EMA and seeing that turn down 3 times in a row with that big bearish bar that actually broke higher first, that's worth trying to ride it back to the EMA. And you may catch a important high and be able to ride that back, but then of course it bounces. And notice you get several tests in here and a nice bullish bar. That's strong support. I like taking that. And then of course now you can tell you're in a trading range. It comes back here and gives you another bar at a very low point here, a little failed break lower, a little double bottom, and it's a second entry long too, so I'd probably take that one. This one would be tempting right here, but when it didn't break higher with this next bar that's kind of bearish, now you got a 2-bar matching high. I think I'd skip it then. And we're just working sideways again, but notice how we come back one more time. That support's held every time, and you get a nice bullish bar, and you got just enough room to get out. And notice how it goes to the tick, and so you could have scalped out of that right before the bottom falls out of it. And then that took us into the 2 o'clock hour. I didn't really see anything else in there I liked. And you got to be real careful in this stuff. You can get chopped all to pieces here. Really, the only way to trade is if you can get short at the very high, and this has been an uptrend, so that's a little risky, or get long at the very lows, and you want to get long as close to those lows as you can so you got room to get out. And I see these two trades, since it was an uptrend, you tend to lean towards the long side. So there's a couple of trades there. But yeah, that's what I saw today. Pretty good trade today. I mean, really, if you catch one of these shorts in here, you probably don't even have to trade the afternoon. You can be done early today and have a nice runner. People ask me about runners all the time. Runners can really change the numbers in your favor. If you just catch one or two here and there, if you catch this runner right here, I mean, that's, you can easily get, let's just see what you can get, 29, 23. And if you just waited till the first bar that broke higher, really, actually you had one break higher here, but if you stayed with it, there's a short-term trend line that I don't even have drawn. But if you just stay with your trend line, which is what I usually like to do when you get your first close outside the trend line and then a break above it, which would have been right here. And that would have been right off your lower trend channel too, so that would have been a good place to exit. And so from 29.23 to 29.12, I mean, that's 10 points easy. So try to get those runners, especially when prices are trending. Now, when you're going sideways and chopping around, don't try to fool runners. But when you start to get a trend, try to catch a runner. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it Monday. I'm done for today and done for this week. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.